that like. Share this content, let that friend, that neighbor know where to go when it's time to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk in Yon. That's including the ice wall, baby. The name, Slaw Nation. Without hesitations nor deviations to the matter. Let's get it. Recap mode. Yeah. 5, 4, 3, 2, and put a 1 in the chat if the audio is straight. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Appreciate everybody. Ice cold said the doors of the church open. R.I.P. to Malcolm Jamal Warner. We grew up watching him. Hope all is well. Condolences out to the fam. And on top of that, Cowboy Nation, the Dallas Cowboys got some explaining to do. They do a lot of talking, and I get it. You know, there will always be support of the Jones family. We love the Jones family. We think that they do an unbelievable job as it relates to notoriety, right, and visibility. They do a great job at that. They do a wonderful job at that of getting things going in the right way, the proper way, and all of the ways that you can think of. But it becomes a time where it becomes annoying, right? It's like some things are better left not said at all, if I can put it in those frames. And you know for sure when somebody's rumbling and rambling over words and anytime they make I'm trying not to keep it. I'm trying not to put politics into the mix, but man, it'll fit right on in, guys. But I'm trying not to. I'm trying my darndest not to bring this up. But I love the way Nick Harris put up a highlight reel of like everything, and we're gonna go over that. And I have some audio that we can play that they gave me permission to play or what have you. Picture/moment. The Cowboys want more, a lot more from Trayvon Diggs. It's 1,000 degrees in Texas. This guy's recovering. We don't have the terrain to work and to recover and recoup the way you want a person to do in Texas. So normally what players do is they go to areas where it's conducive enough so that you can get yourself back into the good tip-top shape, right? And granted, you signed a contract, you got to honor that contract. Now, $500,000 that was owed to Trayvon Diggs if he were to go out here and train with the boys. Now, granted, the Dallas Cowboys don't have the best or the perfect rap sheet as it relates to recovery time. Outside of maybe you can throw in Dak Prescott. You know, his recovery was looking pretty good coming off of 2020 and then going into 2021. But neither here nor there. I don't mind if Trayvon Diggs can eat the $500,000 fine and make sure that he's in tip-top shape. I'm not going to get mad at that. Also, with that being said, no movement on the Micah Parsons deal. And he likened it to basically saying that he don't trust Parsons. Well, Law, what do you mean he don't trust Parsons? Well, he went into a whole conversational piece about, hey, he can get hit with a car. You know, he can step outside and trip his ankle. That's life. That's the price of doing business. Players, when they sign their original contract to whatever team that they are drafted to, that's when they start earning said money. There shouldn't be, hey, I got to make sure that he can earn his money. That's bullsugar. He done already earned his money. He already getting 13 to 14 sacks a season. But the longer you wait, the longer you sit back, and the more time that you put back, other people are getting more and more money, more and more things added to them, and it shows a level of trust. That's equivalent to saying, yeah, man, that's my squeeze. I would marry her, but what if she cheat? What if she bumped into Tyrone or something? What if she meets someone that's better or got more money? You can't base that off of what, whether or not you're going to be committed to something or not. Micah Parsons' track record should speak for itself. Right? Parsons and Diggs caught strays. Yeah, I feel you, man. Yeah, I could win the lottery, right? Ice cold. So we can't go off of those type of mindsets. And let me see if I got somebody right here. Here it is. Shout out to Ashley. She shared this with me. Let me see if I can play it. Hold on.
Just because we sign him doesn't mean we're going to have him. He was hurt 6 games last year. Seriously. We've signed, I remember signing a player for the highest paid at the position in the league, and he got knocked out 2/3 of the year, Dak Prescott.
Now, that's wild. Granted, that could have happened to anyone. That could have happened to anyone. And there's a ton of Cowboy fans saying, yeah, man, he's right. You shouldn't have signed Dak because he got hurt. That's life, man. Even if you didn't sign it, this is how the world works. If you didn't sign him, he probably would have stayed healthy all year and would have threw for 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns. Who knows? But in actuality, that's life. That's just how it is, ladies and gentlemen. You can't control the things like that of saying, well, I got one foot in, I got the other foot out. You sign your players. And if they get hurt, that's just the price of doing business. Micah missed 4 games. Yeah. Even missing 4 games last season, collectively, from a stat-wise, if you speaking of stats, he had his best season last year. Now, nobody eat their own more than Cowboy fans. And I get it. It's been 30 years, 30 seasons. But I just want to sharpen you guys' mindset to these type of things because these are facts that's not up for debate. Only a fool will debate this, right? When you look at the salary cap, we have $31.7 million. If you want to round it up to 32, you can do that. The Eagles, who just coming fresh off of a Super Bowl, they got $30 million. $30 million. Don't y'all know that we just got $1 million more? They quarterback getting $250 million. They got 2 studded wide receivers. They got a running back that we got 4 running backs. You combine all 4, it will equal Saquon, right? They got a tight end that's getting paid money, not peanuts. Our guys getting paid peanuts. Collectively, Hurts' contract is still more money than Dak Prescott contract. But I know people look at the APY. I get all of that. They got an offensive juggernaut line that they pay their guys. And we still scrambling and scraping and talking about stuff that we did 35 years ago. Or was it 36 years ago? And I'm talking about Jerry Jones bringing up the fact that Emmitt Smith contract was needed, and they waited to the last hour and thinking that that is a proper way of doing business. That's crazy, y'all. Well, how far 92 is from now, right? That's when it happened, 1992 or 1993, one of those years. He held out, coming off of a Super Bowl. I think he rushed for 1,800 yards, over 20 touchdowns collectively, 3 to 400 yards receiving. And he states that, hey, if we start off 0-2 and win the Super Bowl, I want to say, naysayer, man, that's many a years ago. That same philosophy won't work. No, I'm not missing the point, typical Cowboy fan. You are missing the point. You can't take care of business. You can't do the same business that you did 30 years ago. You can't literally do the same kind of caliber of business that you did 20 years ago. You can't do the same philosophy and principle of business that you did 15 years ago. You can't do the same principle and philosophy of business that you did 5 years ago. And believe it or not, with AI and all of this stuff, baby, you can't do the same type of business that you did a year ago. If you're not learning AI, you are stuck in the past right about now. This life is continuing to grow and change and elevate, whereas we are still stuck in the freaking 90s. Gas was 80 cents in the 90s. Tell me how much gas is now. A gallon of milk was less than $1. Tell me how much gallon of milk is now. And meat was really meat. You don't know what you're eating now. You don't know what you're eating now with all of the technology and stuff that we got now. People popping open drinks and stuff and passing out. Adapting. Gil. Ooh! Gil, you're right. Come on with it. Damn. Adapting is the key. Learning is the key. Learning from your mistakes is the key. Well, is that what they're doing? They may be learning because they paid Diggs, they paid Steele, they paid Dak Prescott. Well, if you're not going to pay Micah Parsons and you're going to hang him out for dry, then make sure, baby, that you get this right trade situation going. But the Cowboys don't have gonads. They don't have the nuts to be able to reach out to other teams and trade away their star-studded player, regardless of who he are or who he is. They don't have that. They can't trade away star-studded players. They refuse. So what is going to happen, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to drag, stretch, and pull this information all the way out. Then they cave. They cave. They're going to 1,000% cave. And what this does, for what this is, it divides the nation. Nobody gives a dog about George Karlaftis over there in Chiefs Kingdom. Nobody talked about that individual worth, his value, what he brings to the table, what he can't bring to the table, because just like a thief in the night, the Kansas City Chiefs, they signed him. Where my guy at?
Thief! Stop! Thief! Come back, thief!
They signed him. Trey Smith, there wasn't going back and forward. Let the AI speak.
Khalil Small $5. Shout out Law. Shout out Memphis. Go Cowboys. Shout out Young Dolph.
Shout out to salute to Young Dolph, man. Appreciate you, Small. And I know when you call in, you always give us some good stuff. You got us, the poet Jones, talking about Diggs, Dak, Micah publicly. Like this is one of the reasons fan base hates certain players, and you know it affects the locker room as well. And that, my friend, ooh-wee. Everybody got that one person in their family members on their family side. Let the AI, you get in on this, AI. Get in on this. Yeah, get in. Read that up. Read that one more time.
The poet $5. Jones talking about Diggs, Doc, Micah publicly. Like this is one reason the fan base hates certain players, and you know it affects the locker room as well.
Hell yeah. And this is the God honest truth. Everybody got a family member that's a little touch, right? Whether it's a wandering eye, a lady with a mustache, or Willie Earl and them one leg longer than the other. And that's cool. We know that. That's family business. We ain't finna just let somebody else talk bad about them out in public, right? But we were John, because I don't know, I'm from the South. I don't know if you guys do that. We were John Willie Earl and them, man, you know. I mean, he cheating while we playing spades. He got one leg longer than the other and one eye looking over here. Stop looking at my books, right? That's what we do. But we for dog sure are not finna go to a press conference and get out there and start talking about Willie Earl and them, right? And talking about how they can't pay their rent on time. Or, by the way, sullying and denigrating. The lady with the mustache, she can cook a mean potato salad for real. Yeah, but sometimes you got to keep stuff to yourself. But Jerry go broadcast to the entire world. How you think these players going to feel when they get out there? Now, granted, I was telling y'all 2-3 weeks ago that when we play football, it's us, lazy-eyed ELGSEL fan, Williams. But y'all get it. Y'all know exactly. Y'all got one of them people in y'all family, right? Just got just a little touch, a little bit, right? Right? Yeah. So you be sitting there thinking like, man, something special about him. Something ain't right. The engine is running, but nobody's behind the wheel and that type of stuff, man. But that Cuz, though, we going to let Cuz make it, Yes, indeed. In the game of Jones. So I think that it's counterproductive when you start talking about your players, right? And now it takes this whole era of energy and it forces it to be negative. It forces it to be negative. Yeah. So it's just crazy.
Just because we signed him doesn't mean we're going to have him. He was hurt 6 games last year. Seriously. We've signed, I remember signing a player for the highest paid at the position in the league, and he got knocked out 2/3 of the year, Dak Prescott. So there's a lot of things you can think about when you, just as the player does, when you're thinking about committing and guaranteeing money.
That boy Tony Simmons says, Uncle Shirley can make a hell of a German chocolate cake. You ain't lying. She make the best spaghetti, though. But we're going to let Auntie Patty do it. You know what I'm saying? Because she been making it all this time for 30 years, 30 seasons. But Uncle Shirley, man, that potato salad and that spaghetti, yeah. Make the best ones out there, So that's just where we at right now, Cowboy Nation. It is weird energy. Now, granted, I would say this from all what we can think of is it's entertainment. It's entertainment, baby, because tomorrow he can go ahead and get signed. But Jerry Jones himself, and I reported this right here when they said that Jerry Jones admitted, Todd Archer pretty much tweeted it out, but it's on the recording. Yeah. It's on the recording. Jerry Jones admitted that there have been moments where he thought about stepping away from GM duties. I'm telling y'all right now, somebody need to give that man a boat of real confidence that he can still step away. Yeah. Jerry, you can still step away. You can still, hey, Jerry, you hear me? Wake up. You hear me, Jerry? You can still step away. But my only thing is, even if he do step away, it'd probably be more of the same. I know it could probably be more of the same.
What's your point? What's your point? Okay, so what?
Jerry, the reason why I'm saying it could be more of the same is because when y'all was going through that conversational piece about you talking to the agents and stuff like that, and then you said, well, I want to talk to the principal. I get all of that. And then I guess they twist your arm a little bit, and they twist that damn arm so much, then they let it out that Stephen Jones basically talks to the agent, not you. So I don't know whether or not Michael says, Lord, give Uncle Shirley a kiss. No way, Jose. As a matter of fact, I got Uncle Shirley right here on the line right here. Hold on. Uncle Shirley.
You're looking great.
Go Birds!
Let's go Birds. ELDSELE.
Oh my gosh, boy. But neither here nor there. The whole idea that we going to escape purgatory is a real thing, right? But what if we escape and then either we get into another room and it's Stephen Jones? So that's just for what it is. It is one of those things, whereas I don't know what the hell to think of outside of the fact that Schottenheimer today did a great job of going through his responses, especially on how he looked at Kevontae Turpin and beyond. It's going to be that part of it. We're going to have to win in spite of the front office. That's for what it is. Yeah. So when we start talking about Super Bowls and championships and success, we got to also talk about the way that teams are successfully doing it. When we start looking at successful ideals and you want to mirror those ideals, then you're supposed to do said things that mirroring each other. There's literally nothing new under the sun. There's been only one team that's been consistently winning, and they won all of those Super Bowls. But if I encourage you guys to go back and look at the Patriots run when they was winning all of them Super Bowls. Look at their free agent acquisitions. Okay, now we move that to the side, right? When you literally look at the last time the LA Rams, or whether it's St. Louis Rams, one of the Rams teams, when they ultimately won the Super Bowl, you have to think of it. That's what the damn Eagles just did. They did the exact same thing. When the Rams won their Super Bowl, they went and made acquisitions. They strengthened their defense. They made it sure that they added more and more pieces, blend of mixtures of veteran help as well as free agency, and drafting pretty well. That's what the Eagles just did. To a degree. The 49ers, to that same point, and thank and praise be to God that they didn't win the Super Bowl, because that's one thing I can still shoot jabs at my brother with, like, yeah, y'all drought longer than ours. But they were 9 yards away from winning the Super Bowl the last time they was at the Super Bowl. 9 yards away. But they did the exact same thing. Acquisitions. Paying players. Going to get the right pieces. Now, do you win them all? No. but you strengthens your chance to win it all, right? Now, by the Cowboys taking a shot at their star-studded players, it's going to be a difficult situation. Expressing regrets that you signed Diggs, expressing regrets that you signed a Terrence Steele, extensions early. It's a sad way to do business. Because instead of expressing regrets, these boys don't have a no-trade clause on their contract. You should have been willing and dealing. You should be talking glowingly about your project or about your product so that when it's time to move on, you get something back in return. It's just crazy. Stephen Jones suggested that the team has started an extension talk with Tyler Smith, but did not confirm. So he said, I talked to such and such, but we don't know, All right, and on top of that, they want more from Tyler Guyton and Mozzie Smith. Well, let me break this out to you all. Jalen Battles, salute to you. Jerry Jones, I see you in the chat. Salute to you. Smoke one for you. Appreciate you. Thank everybody for tuning in. But let me break this down. Let me break this down to y'all. You got this? What would be the benefits? You saying that you want more from Tyler Guyton. You saying that you want more from Mozzie Smith. You want more and more from these individuals. But yet, you drag your feet and pussyfoot around. I'm old school, by the way, Mississippi. On paying these guys on the efforts that they generated. Like a Parsons. Like to a degree, Rain Dakota Prescott. So what would be the benefits of you saying that you want more and more things from these guys, and what would be the incentives? Shout out to you, Ed. Thank you for jumping in. What would be the goal? Don't you know that these guys got eyes? They can see. Now, I do know that individually they should all want to be great or elite. But at the end of the day, what would be the incentives when you drag and you scrape and you force this and that and you talk about your superstars? What would be the incentives? Yeah, Jerry says money. Parsons ain't got his money. Newsflash. Yeah, I'm busting my chops off. I don't think that Tyler Guyton nor Mozzie within the next few years can live up to any of the accomplishments that Micah Parsons exhibited and exuded in his time here. They won't be able to do it. I can put them in a time bubble, in a time machine, right? And extract the knowledge that they have now. Go back into the past, insert that knowledge into them, and put them on the field. And they still wouldn't equate to the skill set that Micah Parsons exhibits. So, it's just for what it is. And no shade at Tyler Guyton and Mozzie. But they ain't finna be 3-time All-Pro. They're not finna generate the kinds of calibers of things, especially Mozzie. He's not finna generate over 90 pressures per season, 13 to 14 sacks per season. He's barely making it now. So it's crazy. And people fail to realize, don't y'all know how hard it is for somebody to come back from a recovery And they want Cowboy fans too now. This is crazy. I just did, Daryl. You said I can't compare Parsons' position to theirs. I just did. I just compared their positions. Are you alive? Are you okay mentally? You can't compare. Yes, I can. I can compare Aaron Donald to Parsons. I can compare Parsons to Khalil Mack. I can compare Parsons to Diggs. I just did it. Meaning that you are short-sighted. You are looking at positions, and I'm talking about accomplishments. And what was the rewards? Come on, man. Y'all falling right into the traps. If Mozzie was generating to a comparable rate, if you were to say that from a defensive tackle to an edge rusher, if Mozzie was out here busting his chops, getting, let's say, 50 pressures, 4 to 5 sacks from the interior, what would be the incentives? For him to get franchise tag, for them to say, hey, at the end of your career, at the end of your rookie contract, can you prove it one more year? That's not the best rule of business. Gosh, man, it's not the way that you're supposed to handle these type of things. Law, what do you mean? What do you mean? You never managed, you never GM for the National Football League. You never did this, you never did that. When you see a car speeding down the hill and there's kids at the bottom of the hill, you don't have to know how to drive to yell at the kids, get the hell out of the street. The car coming. You don't have to know how to drive. You can see the car coming down the hill. What we're doing as fans, we're yelling at the Joneses, get out of the street. That car's coming. And they still playing jump rope and wondering why they are not winning. B Bird, shout out to you for the super chat.
B Bird $5. Law, if anyone wanted to know why I keep my foot on the Joneses' neck, just listen to them. They not saying these things in Flea, KC, and Balt.
No, they definitely not say that in Baltimore. And if the Cowboys win this year, or when the Cowboys win this year, I would give an apology. Yeah, I would give an open apology. Won't we all, be Bird? Yeah. We would be like, hey man, we apologize, man. We gonna let billionaires do billionaire things, man. You guys were right, we were wrong, right? At some point, at some time, we will say these things to Jerry Jones, saying, you know what, you right, dog. We were wrong the whole time. Hey, trust the process. But who broken that word, trust the process? Jerry Jones' other son, Jason Garrett, he would say, trust the process. We were sitting there like, man, what kind of Pentium processor this is, man? This like, instead of Windows 95, this like Windows 90, Windows wasn't even created at this time. What kind of processing system is this? Come on with it. But we as fans, all we can do is say, oh man, shucks, man. Maybe next time we'll get things moving and grooving. Maybe next time. I ain't apologize for them. If we have to respect the coaches, and I would have to respect the coaches and players. Man, if Jerry Jones, if we win the Super Bowl this year, I would hush for the rest of my life. I don't give a dog. It'll take another 30 years. If Jerry Jones win the Super Bowl this year, if he figure out a way, even if he's not even in the processing system, don't y'all know, if we win the Super Bowl now, I would start a march. Y'all thought Dr. Martin Luther King was marching? Sure, I will march to the Star in Frisco, from the Star in Frisco to Arlington, and then we'll get in a van, a bus, or something, and drive all the way to Oxnard, right? And then we'll come back around and go to Thousand Oaks, wherever we ever trained at, and come back to the Star. And I'll say, Jerry, you were right, man. You know, you was right. You 1,000%. I would take a picture in front of Sky Mirror. I would dress up for the rest of the next 5 years as Jerry Jones for Halloween. Yeah. And guess what? And the right, Gil, and battle. I won't be the only one. I have all of y'all with me. You want to? Yeah, let's start free at last. Thank God Almighty, Dr. Martin Luther King be climbing up out of the grave with me, and he'll start marching with us, Now we're not crazy enough to start eating horse droppings. That's what the Eagles do. We ain't gonna do that, But we would start doing some stuff like that. Yes, indeed, man. Hey, it is for what it is.
And that you had everything in.
All right, let's see what we got right here. So the Cowboys, let's see if I can pull up this video here. And I don't know if we can, but we'll try.
If you're a man who makes at least $150K a year and you feel self-conscious about your gut sticking out,
wow,
I'll get you shredded or you won't pay a dime. I'm talking Chris Hemsworth's story.
All right, man. If a man making $150,000 a year, he should be shredded.
Again, same format as we typically use. Flag me down. I'll make a note and I'll call on you. Okay. So
we'll speed through these though, y'all.
Wait till I call on you, and we'll roll through here what we need to get done. So with that, we will start off with Calvin.
Good morning, Calvin. How we doing, buddy?
Tyler Smith said yesterday he thinks this is a Super Bowl team. This is for Jerry and Steven. Your thoughts of all the moves that you've made, you think this is a roster that can help you achieve your goals?
Tyler's one of the most intelligent guys in the NFL.
My guy in the chat says, Mike McCarthy made over $150K. Can you help him out? I don't know, man. He got muscles up under that bodysuit of fat. I don't know.
And if he's thinking that way, I'll go right along with him. But I think that we've addressed many areas that bit us. As I look at what last year was about, y'all are going to ask about some of those, I'm sure, here today. But I think we've addressed them in a good way that will make us better. Having Dak under center is a good place to start, to begin with.
I got one more. Micah Parsons, do you expect him, even though he's here, do you expect him to practice until he gets a contract finalized?
Well, everybody here is under contract. Everybody. Yes.
Technically, he's right. Everybody's under contract. We can play that game, right? Now, I worked in contracting for over 15 years, and I'm gonna tell you, when you look in, and I ain't talking about physical labor contractors, I'm talking about financially, uncontracting, and as well as answering RFIs and RFPs and beyond, and making sure that you mitigate the risk on certain things. And we talking about budget spendings of forecasting well over $500 million, right? So these are the hands and the mind that we touched upon. And one of the things that we really dive real deep into are the facts that you don't wait to the end of life. Because if you wait to the end of that life of that contract, we know that you got to go back to the drawing boards, back to the negotiation table, back to taking this clause out, adding this clause in, and it makes it even more difficult. So that's why when you seeing teams, when you hear the news breaking that they have these extensions before the contract becomes to the end of life, both parties more so are happier. Nobody wants to get into this contract negotiation going back and forth over when you really dissect everything. certain clauses in a contract, $4 to $5 million in a contract. Things are closer than what they appears to be. And that's why we look at these other contracts when the extension time goes a little bit faster and earlier, you see the relief a whole lot better.
Yes, and so that's what that is. From the standpoint of, let's say, what happens relative to, I'm looking at the entire NFL when I say this, and that's players that are under contract and teams looking to make it better for the team and for the player. In terms of that, that is incumbent if you're in that price range. When you're up there in that top 10%, so to speak, of the league, and that top quartile of your team, leadership is really big. And leadership exhibits himself when you're negotiating as well. And so I'm appreciative of Micah being here. I am. And it's incumbent upon us all. We've got a player that we've docked him for not being here during off-season workout, as you well know. And we will fine him for that.
Boy, if y'all play that game, take a shot every time he says, up. Boy, we won't make it. Y'all see me fall out of this chair. I will be laid out like Family Guy. For sure. All right, come on with it.
Because those parts of a contract to go directly toward the leadership that he's is as a player relative to the rest of the team, and certainly, obviously, to our fans as well. So I'm big into, and not alone either, big into showing anything you can do for leadership if you're going to be one of these guys that are in the top drawer of all the money.
All right, let me break this down to y'all, man. You take care of the things you love. You take care of the things you desire. You covet those things, and you say to yourself, okay, I don't give a dog about any other car, but that's my car. Did Jerry Jones hate their players? Sounds like it. Yeah, do Jerry Jones hate their players? And B. Bird, let me touch on this topic right quick, you know. Let me touch on this one. When you really like something and care for something, you covet it, right? Let me use a car for an example. There are people who bought their very first car. They make sure they pull it in the driveway. They make sure they wash it. They clean the wheels. They make sure when it's time to get his oil changed and when it's time to move the fluids around, they make sure that they do all of those things. And especially when it's time for those things to happen, they're not fiddle-faddling around with it because of the simple fact they covet it. But when you don't like something and you see that it's about to rain, or you don't really have that passion about the thing that you love, you just sit there and let that car be out there in the rain. You'll let people, when you pick them up to take them to X, Y, and Z, you don't give a care if they track mud in your car. You don't wash your car. You don't get the oil change. You don't do the small responsibilities that to keep and maintain said car. So what the Joneses do is that they go out here and buy said car. They leave it out there in the lot. They let people touch their hand, put their crabby little hands on them, lean all over their car. When it's time for to pick up somebody, they track their mud all over the seat. They don't even take it for a wash. And they got a 4-car garage. Don't even pull that one up inside when it's raining. It's finna hailstorm. They just leave it outside. That's what they do to their star-studded players. And when people drive by and they watch and look at that car, they sitting there like, wow, that's a nice automobile. Why the owner don't even wash it? Why he don't even clean the wheels off here and there?
Clarence.
Clarence Hill, All City DLLS. I know it takes two to tango, and every contract is different. But in March, you talked about, Micah, and that you had everything in place as far as an agreement mentally on the numbers. Here we are in July, and you still haven't had a deal. Any frustration of why a deal has not been done?
Not at all. Not at all. We do, and I don't mean this, I have things undone, dangling participles. I bet I have 20 of them every day in some pretty serious areas. You can't have it all done at the same time. It doesn't work that way. And so this is just a part of it. We've got, again, I want to mention that we're here with everybody under contract. 2 years ago, we were here, and I think Zach Martin wasn't here. You had a situation, although we had a contract, so you worked through that. I was looking at this documentary, and I spent some time going back in the Emmitt Smith negotiation and what was going on there. There's nothing new about what we're talking about here today relative to contracts. That's been going on a long time. Now, if you say, well, if you don't get him in, are you going to lose the first two games and then go on to win the Super Bowl? Well, we'll take that. That's what happened with them, of course.
It wasn't that easy. It appears that this man is stuck in the 90s, and I'm not beating him up. I know I'm normally more positive than anything, but positively speaking, I'm telling y'all the truth now. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't lying to kick it. We ain't lying to Luke Kane. But this ain't 93, dog. We're not coming off of a Super Bowl. Our defense at that time was ranked number 1, number 2, respectfully, in the National Football League, too. We had the best run game. We had a bunch of guys that's on the offensive line that wasn't drafted in the first round, but they were taught from a Hall of Fame coach, Jimmy Johnson, Jay Novacek, Troy to Michael Irvin and them. Man, we don't have that discipline and structure here. We don't have that grit. We are in a developing stage right now. We're developing these guys to hopefully that they can become what Jimmy Johnson team was. That's equivalent to saying that in Jimmy Johnson's first year in 19 of 89, that if Michael Irvin hold out the first 2 games, in which we only won 1 game, by the way, that we can win the freaking Super Bowl. No, it don't happen that way. Shout out to Moose, yeah.
You brought up Emmett. You know, from the outside looking in, it seems like this has been a pattern of waiting and not getting guys done.
It wouldn't be hard to, because personally I've been around, Stephen's been around relative to anything to do with a contract or money since 1989. It wouldn't be hard to characterize anything in there as a pattern. Now, if you can make some sense out of that, all that period of time and the ups and downs and the nuances of individual player and a contract and of those times, then that's getting pretty good at when you're charting trends, you take those tops and you go and you get your trend from all those tops. But underneath them is all this up and down, up and down. Looks like a recording of a voice, high and low. And so that's just what it is. And you just look at a trend. I've had times when I should have gotten up. I had times when I did get up and I should have sat down, or have times when I should have shut up. So all of that comes to bear. Some of them's been real good. Some of them I would do over again. So that is not a That's a wondering way of saying I am not the least concerned about having any dangling participles out here on a contract anywhere.
And the idea that the numbers have gone up.
Let the AI speak.
Matt Williams $5. Jerry sounds scared that MP may get hurt. You can't think like that. Injuries are part of the sport. You pay them early, cap goes up, and sign more players.
Yeah, this would be the time you trade him if you have reservations. But the thing is, the fear of loss is what they handle. Is what they're battling with. And I'm not saying trade Parsons. I'm not team trade Parsons, by the way. But I'm thinking when I look at everything, when it's time to pay players like the Parsons type, you just go ahead and ink it, you know. When it's time to pay these guys, you don't allow your superstars to get beat up and sullied. You just go ahead and pay them. Now, granted, to be devil's advocate, there could be David Mulugeta trying to ask for a crazy number, right? I don't know the negotiations of what they're doing, of what they got going. But I know this for sure. If Parsons was willing to take the deal last year, I guarantee you the money that he's asking for now is anywhere between $5 to $10 million more because a whole year passed away. You know, a whole levels of production passed away. So now you're going to have to pay more. That's the price of doing business. And I'm thinking that that's where he's finna head to in this conversation. Yeah.
Because you've taken time, still haven't gotten it done with Watt signing, and certainly after some of the guys signing off season, it doesn't matter that the longer you wait, it seems like the money has gone up on Michael.
Used to price let's say a Buick for, I can remember when they were $5,000, believe it or not. And today, I don't know what they sell for, but that's a lot more than $5,000.
All right. Because that Buick today got GPS systems, got a button that can shoot cold air up your butt, and if it's too cold, they got a button that you can press, and it's going to give you warm air, right? They got self-driving Buicks now. They got you press a button and all the windows roll down. Trunk, you can press a button to open up a trunk, the hood, and all of that stuff. So when that car was $5,000, it didn't have all of those accessories. Now, granted, the car might have been worth more due to the levels of metal and material, but due to technology, yeah, you know, it's fiberglass now, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff. But what I'm getting at is that the performance level of modern day Buicks can take you a whole lot faster and farther than that old school Buick that's $5,000, Jerry. Is what we're getting at. So the way that you have to look at things, you got to do what Gil said earlier. You must adapt, and that's just for what it is. That's for what it is. Yeah, air up the butt is crazy. Yeah, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. It's upgrades. Yes,
I've seen them go dead at $5,000, and I've seen them go dead at $50,000. It's just the times you're in, and it's the money you're in. I'm not trying to be cute.
Yes, you are.
But it's all relevant to me. And again, I don't have any issue. I'm not concerned at all about what our team can be this year and develop.
Jerry got one eye going on. What's going on with his eye over here? I know we all live to fight to get to that age. Jerry, are you okay? The Bohemian Grove ritual, what's going on? You know?
Develop into and what we make of our training camp. I'm not at all concerned about a contract that involves and will affect that in any way. I can't emphasize that enough.
Todd.
Hey, Jerry in the comment box, man, you a real one. He said them seats in that old school Buick is like sitting in the Lazy Boy. Now, I ain't gonna even hold you, dog. Shoot, you right. Them old school Buicks, boy, you sit in that mug, boy. Them seats better than the modern day seats. You sit in that mug, boy. It'll cuff you around. And then don't put no armor all on it, shoot. You be sliding out of this damn seat. Yeah, yes, indeed. So, yeah, but at the end of the day, like he said, he's seen $5,000 Buicks on the side of the street, and he's seen $50,000 Buicks on the side of the street. Guess what, Jerry? That's the price of doing business. But that price that you could have gotten that $50,000 Buick at a year ago, it was at $30,000. You know, so you're gonna have to make that move, either whether you like it or not. You know, and that's just how it goes.
Todd Archer with ESPN. Steven, in the past, you guys have been able to work deals here, long-term extensions with guys. Are there plans to talk to Micah's agents while you guys are here, and maybe other players as well?
Well, obviously, when you're together here at camp, you know, it makes for a good environment to get some things done before the season starts. You know, at the end of the day, I think, Clarence, you said it best, it does take two. And a lot of times you might be surprised where we might be and where they might have been, where they were wanting to hold. And obviously, I think most players do understand if you're willing to take risk, you're willing to go out on the field and wait a year to do your contract, and you play well and you bet on yourself, then usually that will happen, you know, in a positive way for the player. They understand that. But, no, this is a great environment to look at, you know, not just Micah's situation, but all situations in terms of players that are probably going to be up for contract next year, or, you know, be in a year where, you know, they're either, you know, could be franchised or tendered or whatever that may be. So we're always looking for those opportunities, and certainly the players. We have players that are interested in that, and we'll be working on that while we're here at camp.
Yeah. Overall, and I forgot your name. It went away. And I'm just passionate today. I'm not fighting nobody. I think it's Logan. He says everybody under contract, they all will get paid. That's what I'm thinking that we're all talking about here, is the respect and the value aspect of it. If a fella is around a woman that he's been dating for 5 or 6 years, and she fool around and they both go to a wedding and she fool around and catch the bouquet, she gonna be looking and saying, hey, I want my ring. She gonna be shooting you all type of insider messages and stuff like that. She gonna want to get married. She gonna want the same thing her cousin or her friend girl is getting. That's by nature of the whole situation. Now, if y'all only been dating for 5 or 6 months, and she catch the bouquet, you be like, man, come on, man, I ain't finna rush into that. You know, you still got to show me something. You still got to make sure you can fix them eggs and waffles in the morning. You know, all that other stuff. You know, not trying to be, you know, what you call that, a guy that's trying to, you know, sexist, whatever. But y'all get what I'm saying. Y'all following what I'm putting up. Now, some of them guys sitting around here saying, hey, man, she better not catch that damn bouquet. She still got things that she got to prove. And I don't give a dog how many times she catch it. I ain't marrying her. You know, I'm not finna do it. But y'all know I'm telling the truth, man. Y'all know I'm out here telling the truth. Now, Parsons, he's still in a relationship. He's still in this relationship. But he's looking around saying, hey, everybody else getting theirs, where I'm going to get mine. How you going to be a leader of a team and the people that pay your check, they don't believe in you? So it's like, hey, my contract longer than yours. It goes all the way back to Mike McCarthy. How Mike McCarthy going to be the leader of this team and his contract was up at the end of the year? These players got 3 or 4 year contract. They sitting there like, man, this marshmallow guy thinking that he gonna tell me what to do. He better be on Indeed somewhere looking for a job or a monster, because I'm gonna be here 3 or 4 years. He ain't. He don't even have a contract. His words going into one ear, out the other. So that's life too. That's life too. If a third of you guys go into your job and your boss is a month-to-month boss and he not promised to be there for August and he's not promised to be there by next July, man, you be like, man, you better try to keep your job. Man, I'm under contract. I ain't worried about you. Yeah, that's why we don't go to weddings, especially case. Yeah, don't marry that lazy eye girl. Oh my gosh, man, the best player on defense is Bland and Overshawn. This is Elbert. Now, if you go ask Bland and Overshawn who's the best player on the defense, do you think that they're going to say their names or they're going to say Parsons?
Brian, with Micah, if he doesn't practice while he has a hold in, what do you do?
You should work every day. I mean, however this thing plays out, it's going to play out. The fact that Mike is here, he's talked all offseason about wanting to take more of a leadership role. He's talked about wanting to be great. We know he's a great player. And, again, I think that we're excited that he's here. And there's a lot of ways to get this thing done. But like we've said, we're committed to having him take that next step, not just as a player, but as a leader.
Yeah, Drew. He says, Law, the culture has not changed. Still the same old Cowboys. Jerry and Steven is not going to change. They've been this way. Let me put it back over here, man. Let me put it back over here. Sometimes success can be your own enemy. Don't crucify me. Sometimes success can be your own enemy, right? And I heard you guys say this before. Live by the 3, you die by the 3, right? When you rely on the 3-point shooting, you're not going to hit them buckets all the time. But if you won 15 to 16 games in a row, hitting it from the perimeter, shooting threes and stuff, you think that this is the way. Law, what are you getting at? Sometimes your success can be your own enemy, thinking that you were successful when you really were not. Law, where you getting at, man? Come on, get to it, Law, get to it. Well, follow me. When Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson got into it, he stated that I can find 500 other coaches to win football games with this team. Now, Jerry didn't have to search for 500 coaches. He found Barry Switzer. Ultimately, they won in 1995. They could have won 94 and 95, but, coaching. I ain't going to go in and get into details of that. That success created a monster of the mind of saying, hey, I was right. Truth takes its time to get out of the bed to come greet you. A lie will travel all around the world multiple times before that truth can even get out of the bed. By Jerry thinking in his mind, hey, I was right. I won a freaking Super Bowl without Jimmy Johnson, and I'm the successful one. It's all me. Like Nebuchadnezzar, look at the things I've done, looking down upon the people, my subjects. Look at me. Y'all read that word and y'all let me know what happened to him until he realized it wasn't him. This is the same type of thing. Some of you guys may not get it this year, but you may get it 10 to 15 years from now. But when you do, just hit me up and say, man, that Law was cooking that day, and I got it. Your success can also be your own failure, because Jerry Jones thinking that he was successful in 1995, and he thought that these are the things he done. And if you go back and watch the Super Bowl trophy, he snatches it from the head coach, and he holds it up in the air like, hey, this is what I've done. I told you I can do it. And then the truth took his time, rolled up out of the bed, probably rolled him one, brushed teeth, combed the hair, put on a three-piece suit, said, you know what? Instead of driving, I'm going to walk to Jerry Jones' doorstep. Open up. It's the year 2002. It's the year 2007. It's the year 2013. It's the year 2016. It's the year 2025. It's still knocking at the door. Open up. Open up, Jerry. It wasn't you that won them Super Bowls. It wasn't you. It was the players that Jimmy Johnson assembled. You know, it's just for what it is. Y'all know I'm telling the truth.
Just because we sign him doesn't mean we're going to have him. He was hurt 6 games last year. Seriously. We've signed...
Hey, Reggie Knight said the truth took 30 years to get out of the bed. Oh, my gosh. Ooh-yee. If you dig a little deeper, you will also find the truth took over 300 years or 400 years for people to realize and wake up that we was over here before the slave trade came. But that's a whole nother conversation. I don't want to get too deep onto things. But the more they look around and say, man, wait a minute. These artifacts got round noses, man. And you mean to tell me this predates Christopher Columbus? Yeah, okay, all right. And they was calling this Turtle Island? Oh, yeah. You mean to tell me that there were brother presidents before, that there was George Washington? Oh, my gosh. I can't take this no more, man. The lies, man, they travel around the world.
Signing a player for the highest paid at the position in the league, and he got knocked out
Don't counsel me now.
2/3 of the year. Dak Prescott. So there's a lot of things you can think about when you, just as the player does, when you're thinking about committing and guaranteeing money.
On the tango part of it, though, Micah said in the podcast that ownership has overcomplicated this thing. In your mind, do you guys think this has been overcomplicated?
Of all of the people that I've sat down with as a player, of all the players that I've ever negotiated with, Micah Parsons is as savvy and knowledgeable and understanding of his financial business relative to football as any player I've ever been around.
Wow.
John.
Now, he's smart.
John Michaud with The Athletic. Jerry, have you had a chance to actually talk to his agent yet?
Get him, John!
I've talked with people.
I'm going to have to learn Jerry, man. When you saw how he started to switch up, and he said, he know he talked to David Mulugeta, but he got to get his line together. And Jerry Jones, as old and gray as he is, man, and he's wise to a degree. But he's trying to make sure, because we know you talked to David Mulugeta, you signed the guy that's under his particular agency. His name is George Pickens. So you had to talk to him to ink the deal, to sign the doggone contract off. Come on with it. I love it.
People that have talked to him, let's put it like that. You know, I don't necessarily talk to these agents, or I don't necessarily talk to attorneys, and I do stuff everywhere, and I don't necessarily talk to the people that are hired to do certain things. I talk to the principals 90% of the time.
And for Brian, when you're getting ready to come out here as your first training camp as head coach, what's like at the top of your list of what you want to get accomplished over the next 3.5 years?
We were talking about that last night with the staff a little bit. Just, we want to have a very physical training camp. There's limitations to what you can do, but, we want to come out of this thing knowing the emphasis of winning the line of scrimmage. Like, that's really important to us, both offensively and defensively. How we want to play, be a physical style team, both offensively and defensively. And so I would say that maximize our padded practices. Obviously got the work coming up against the Rams here in a couple weeks, and that's the big emphasis right now.
Tommy
Yarsh, DallasCowboys.com. Jerry kind of brought it up a little bit earlier with Trayvon Diggs. So what would end up?
Pause. I got some news I got to recap right quick. It's just getting hot real quick. All right, boom. Where you at? Where you at, news? Give me that good news. Good news. All right, J.J. Watt, the brother of T.J. Watt, who we could have drafted, and we could have drafted J.J. Watt, but we drafted Tyron Smith instead. And truth be said, I kind of like Tyron Smith. Was he better than J.J. Watt? That's a whole nother conversation. But J.J. Watt states that from here, let me read this first part of it. Let me just play it then. Hell, let me play it.
Just because we sign him doesn't mean we're going to have him. He was hurt 6 games last year. Seriously. We've signed, I remember signing a player for the highest paid at the position in the league, and he got knocked out 2/3 of the year, Dak Prescott. So there's a lot of things you can think about when you, just as the player does, when you're thinking about committing and guaranteeing money.
Anytime, this is from J.J. Watt, quote, anytime you can publicly take a dig at your star quarterback and your star pass rushers simultaneously, right before the season began, you got to take it. Nothing make guys want to fight for you more than hearing how upset you are that they got hurt while fighting for you, So that is J.J. Watt, and that's his thoughts on this. Yeah. They said quit. Quite a way to build a culture. Villainize your best players. And then fire Jerry. I don't know if I know we got Jerry Jones in the building, but where is Fire Jerry? You need to get in the building too, And he got the Fire Jerry hats. True story. I had posted this on my my Twitter page. This little piece right here, and I got a letter from the Joneses, from the front office. And it's funny that he can post it, but I can't. I had a cease and desist. But that's a whole nother conversation. That's a dig. Some people are acting aloof to the situation, right? We are looking at this as fans, his perspective as an owner, businessman answering the question. A Cowboy fan don't see the big deal of this. And it's from a John Blaze. All right, so let's do this. Let's do this real quick. Let's do this, and I can't do a poll, so you guys gonna have to take it. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest, was this a dig at the players on a scale of 1 to 10? Like 5 being right in the middle, 10 being like, yeah, man, there was a slight dig at the players, right? Because that's how J.J. Watt see it, right? If it was no dig, just put a 1 in the chat. It's just for what it is. Smoke 140 says, nah, it's right at a 5, right? Yeah. 10, Bass, okay. Daryl Mann says no, 1, okay. Swayze says, he's right in the middle, right? 10. So overall, Johnny Blue, like most of you guys seeing it like, hey, y'all taking shots at your star-studded player. When it's someone else's money, you don't take it as bad. But when it's your money, yeah, I see it. I can see it that way. But Jerry, you got no fault. You can't blame nobody at it but yourself. When we talking about this right here, and I'm gonna swing around right back at it so you guys can see what I'm talking about. When we talking about this right here, this is money we talking about. Patriots $59 million. The Lions $48 million. They can sign anyone that they want. They signed the players that they wanted. We're not seeing these guys scrambling and scraping. The 49ers going to the postseason if they can remain healthy. $45 million. They just paid their quarterback $250 million. They got their wide receiver $32 million APY, something like that. They got CMC making all types of money. He think he's like one of the highest paid running backs in the National Football League. They got Bosa, who got a check. Fred Warner. They stayed and they made sure that they paid Fred Warner before his contract was due. $45 million, right? The Packers, $35 million. Two of the teams that's been in our way every single season in the postseason got more cap space, and they go out here and they pay their players. Cowboys, $31 million. Why will it be so hard to just make the move and pay your players? Why is it so hard? Hey, and the Bills, and look, what's the rules now? The Bills owe money, and they just paid their quarterback $330 million. They better get out of their red.
That decision, and then what do you want to see from him as a leader, like you mentioned, and where do you feel like he is in the recovery process?
Oh, we expect a player paid like Trevon to be here all the time. We expect him to be leading. We expect him to be leading. But that's not new. That goes all the way back. Deion was not necessarily given to come to the weight room. And I explained to him that it meant a lot for him to be in there. I said, does the fact that I have more weight trainers and more equipment and I work hard every day have anything to do with it? And I said, it needs to have some show with it, and so that all the team and everybody can do it. He said, you're on, done. I get it.
But
it's important. It's important to have the right body language in every respect when you are one of those rare, financially paid and gifted players. You've got to have some leadership about you.
But the de-escalation is contractual, spelled out. So he understood when he decided he was going to train in South Florida. He understood what the consequences would be.
$500,000. Let me catch them in a lie right quick. And y'all can take it however y'all want to take it. It's crazy to me that they knew everything about that $500,000, not $500, on Trayvon Diggs' contract situation. And if I go up and I search, when it was time for Cooper Rush to get his $500,000, all he needed was a series or something like that. Oh, we didn't know in the contract. We didn't know, man. You know, look, on both ends of it, right? They know everything about Trayvon Diggs' contract to the T, contractually speaking, all the way out. But Cooper Rush only needed about 4 or 5 passes in a quarter or something like that to get his $500,000. Oh, we didn't know about that. About that. We didn't know about that. But you know everything. And I get it, Trayvon Diggs, Cooper Rush. But $500,000 is $500,000, man. Come on, let me know if I'm wrong. Come on, y'all. Oh, we didn't. But look, come on, man. You can't. Y'all hustlers, man. I mean, come on. You didn't even have to bring that up, Man, it's crazy, man.
Jane.
Jerry, I was just curious, because you know how these headlines can blow up. You said you don't always talk.
Ooh, I think this is Jane Slater. I think she had got him. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, $500,000 is $500,000, man. Hey, Jerry, just forget about paying me $500,000, man. Yeah, just absolutely accidentally send me $500,000 and say, hey, man, I didn't know I sent it to law. You.
To the principals. In other words, David Mugoletta, Micah Parsons' agent. Why have you not spoken to him more directly the way you have Todd France or David Cantor in the past?
Jerry didn't speak to Todd France.
Okay.
And Jerry, as he said, doesn't speak to many agents. I do.
So what is your relationship with Mugoletta been so far?
We've always had a good relationship with Mugoletta.
What would you say?
And specifically, Adam speaks to the agents as well. So, but Jerry's typically, whether it's a coach or a player, speaks directly to the principal.
You know what? I got to give a round of applause to Stephen Jones for that. So from this day forth, we know who exactly speaking to the agent. From this day forward. Because he stood in front of that ball and he took that hit from his dad. He did. And I got to give him a round of applause.
Okay.
Look, I'm going to rewind. Listen carefully.
They have anything to do with it, and I said it needs to have some show with it, and so that all the team and everybody can do it. He said, "You're wrong. Done. I get it."
But
it's important. It's important to have the right body language in every respect when you are one of those rare, financially paid and gifted players. You've got to have some leadership about you.
But the de-escalation is contractual, spelled out. So he understood when he decided he was going to train in South Florida. He understood what the consequences would be.
Jane.
Jerry, I was just curious, because you know how these headlines can blow up. You said you don't always talk to the principals. In other words, David Mugoletta, Micah Parsons' agent. Why have you not spoken to him more directly?
They speak.
Son of John, $10. Read the story of Ananias. Bible. Ananias lied to God. Jerry said in a 1995 NFL interview, if the Cowboys won Super Bowl 30, he'd never ask to win the Super Bowl again. Jerry mocked God's
integrity. Yeah. and you know who you're dealing with when there's limitations. When there's limitations, you're not dealing with the Creator. You're not dealing with the Most High. The Most High give abundantly. Cup runneth over. I give you more than you can receive, right? Acknowledge me in all thy way, and I will direct thy path, So you're right to that degree. So we know when he was making that deal, it wasn't with the Creator, for what we know. That was a whole different deal. But I appreciate you for your support son of John. Appreciate you. Deep conversation. Boy, we in 3D, 4D deep up in here.
Directly the way you have Todd France or David Cantor in the past.
Jerry didn't speak to Todd France.
Okay.
And Jerry, as he said, doesn't speak to many agents. I do.
So what is your relationship with Mugoleta been so far?
We've always had a good relationship with Mulligetta.
What would you say?
And specifically, Adam speaks to the agents as well. So, but Jerry's typically, whether it's a coach or a player, speaks directly to the principal.
And I don't talk to the attorneys and all of the other stuff that goes on too. Now, really wouldn't be time for everything if you did that. So I do talk to the principal. So
We talked about the fact that sometimes we drag these out. I know last year you guys have disputed whether there was any rust with CeeDee Lamb when he wasn't here at camp. For those of us who aren't in the rooms or aren't talking to the agent like you are, Steven, what's holding it up? Is it APY? Is it injury language? What are the little nuances that are...
Watch how Steven Jones is finna do the backpedal better than Prime. Watch how he backpedal out of this. Woo!
preventing a contract getting done? Since you talked to Micah, which is something you guys have done pretty early on with the player, more so than you have in the past.
Well, first of all, we've always felt like it wouldn't, it's not productive to talk about any details about what's holding what up.
I got you. Oh, I got you. I got you, baby. I got you, baby. Yo, come on, man. What? Come on, baby. Kick them daisies.
What's your point? What's your point?
All right, my point is you don't want to get into details, but I'm vividly remembering that there was multitudes of contracts. The reason why y'all wouldn't sign X, Y, and Z certain player is because of the length of the year, because of, hey, they want a trade clause, no trade clause on the contract, or they want X, Y, and Z workout bonuses. And we've been hearing this for multitudes of years. This is not our first rodeo, Hey, come on. And the reason why we can't get this deal done, let me know. Let me know if I'm lying. We've been down this road before, right? This is not the first one. Definitely not the first one. Y'all can put the names of the players in the chat. But if she would have dropped him to his knees. If she said, well, that wasn't the case with X, Y, and Z, and you are dealing with more money and more responsibilities. So so this is the new Cowboys? Look, what my guy Mike Fisher, exclusive. The reason why the contract's not going to get done because of X, Y, and Z. It's because we having reservations on this knee, or because we have reservations on a throwing mechanic. It's because we have reservations on the deal that was signed and it was verbally signed, but it realized that it wasn't good enough, so they had. Boy, I'm telling you, man, I can't make this stuff up.
I mean, obviously, we don't have a deal with Mike, and we have work to do. That's the only thing I would comment on.
The other thing I would say is contracts are 4 or 5 years. Okay? There's a lot of water under the bridge if you step out there and do something in the first 2 or 3. You can get hit by a car. Seriously. And so there's a lot to look at over a lot of years that could make a big difference. Have you ever heard of any clubs committing to players and then they didn't pan out after they committed to them?
That's life, Jerry. I know what we need to do. We need to take Jerry Jones to a Coldplay concert. That's what we need to do. We need to catch Jerry Jones in the...
Swallow them.
Oh, my gosh, man. That's why you mitigate the risk by signing them early. You don't wait till the end of the life of the contract. Here's why you do this, Jerry, and we cooked, to that degree. Here's why we do this. And believe it however you want to say it. If you sign Dak Prescott early, I'm going all the way back to 2019, at the tip of 2018, when his first eligibility to get signed, and you don't force the kid to go into a prove-it year, you could have got him for $25 to $28 million. And here are some benefits if you were to sign him a whole lot early. It established trust. With a trust, meaning that you signed him before Carson Wentz, before Jared Goff got their bags, right? You signed him to that doggone contract. Meaning if he get hurt or he don't live up to the expectations that you really was subject to, but putting them under, then you can do what we call trade him away. Cut losses. Don't pay him $40 to $45 million, because it wouldn't have been opportunities for that if you went and signed him early. To that point, there were people calling Carson Wentz wheelchair Wentz, right? He kept getting hurt. He kept getting, he was his name to fame for the Eagles in 2017, almost MVP guy, right? But by the Eagles, and I'm using them only as an example. I can't stand them damn birds. But I get my brother in my chat log over here going back and forth, left and right. By them signing Carson Wentz early, of giving him whatever his contract is, it shows a level of trust and respect and appreciation of his value. Now, granted, if he didn't perform up to the levels that was acceptable to those doggone filthy birds, what they did was it drafted a quarterback, put him in the same system, and traded away Carson Wentz and got something back in return. I'm not saying you trade away Dak Prescott, but what I'm saying is if you are waiting for the last minute and you are putting these players' feet to the fire, they're going to put things in position to make sure that they are secured and safe. And that's why our contracts look the way they look. Because we hold on for so long, we beat up the player, we destroy their trade value, we get our own fan base to fight upon each other. You couldn't, during that time frame, you couldn't get Eagle fans to talk bad about Carson Wentz. They believed in him. To a point, there's a video out there. Shout out to my guy, Lord Brunson, LB. But he was moving furniture around when Jalen Hurts got drafted. Because that's how much they believe. All of the Eagles, they believe in Carson. Let me know if I'm lying. For those who saw Lord Brunson when Jalen Hurts got drafted, you know, I can't make this stuff up. So that's why you sign them early. Mitigate the risk.
We have. And so my point is there's of all the reasons in the world to, when you're under contract, and if you're not under contract, one of the things that exacerbates this is that you have a kind of a policy or a practice to have contracts but have like it's some kind of obligation to do something before the contract is over. Okay? In other words, not have the benefit of the contract. Well, that goes completely against the benefit of the club, which ultimately should be to put a winning team on the field. And the more that you can husband, the more that you can spread it out and put it around and have other good players rather than all going to a few players, the better team you got. So there's a lot of reasons. Timing is a lot of reasons. And in fact, why would you go out and basically spend money just to spend money and not have had to spend it, but you can spend it 3 years later? Money costs money. There's a lot of reasons why. This old business of thinking, well, my goodness, it's pretty obvious to me everything goes up. So why don't you catch it when it's low? Have you ever thought that when it's low, they're counting on it going up? And those are the numbers that are coming out? Not the ones that are going on right there. Have you ever thought about that? That's it, 90% of the time. They are not dealing with you in those numbers today. They're dealing with projected numbers, which also usually have more fluff than reality.
We live for the fluff. Let me see if we can speed this up a little bit. I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you, everybody, man. Special K says he doesn't deal with the agent, lawyers, player personnel, or player evaluations. Why are you the GM? Hey, man, you cooked. You cooked on that one. Oh, man, you cooked on that one. Oh, boy. If you're not doing all of this stuff, then why should you receive the credit? If you're not talking to the player personnel, if you're not talking to the agents, I'm gonna copy that one. Where you at? Yeah, Special K, man. I'm gonna copy this one. I'm gonna make sure I give you credit. I'm gonna tweet this out because at the end of the day, your voice matter. All of our voices matter. But that right there, bro. So that was dope. By Special K. I'm going to put that in there so they don't come after me when I'm out there tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to, if y'all see me come up missing, just blame Special K. You know? Yeah.
They've usually got not imagination, but an expectation that those numbers are going to be higher than they are. And there's a debate. Okay, what if we're sitting here putting the club together and we're trying to get them and we don't believe they're going that high?
News flash, Jerry. They going that high. The NFL haven't suffered a decline in revenue nor the salary cap, even in a pandemic. That's what you need to double up even more. If you made $1 during the pandemic, even if you made $1, people was falling out, passed away. Man, they had to putting people in body bags, right? And you still received a profit, more than $1, by the way. You double up the next year in 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024.
They are not dealing with you in those numbers today. They're dealing with projected numbers, which also usually have more fluff than reality. They've usually got not imagination, but an expectation that those numbers are going to be higher than they are. And there's a debate. Okay, what if we're sitting here putting the club together and we're trying to get them and we don't believe they're going that high? Only God really knows, you know. So all of that comes to play.
Joe.
You ever seen that meme when 50 Cent was like, hey, wait a minute. God's sitting there doing his own thing, and then he going to be like, hey, why you bring me into this? Because this is common knowledge. Everybody should know that the salary cap is increasing every year. Everybody should be taking advantage of this imaginary number, Jerry. What you are doing, Jerry, is literally the parable with the talents. you are taking your money instead of going out there and giving it to the exchangers. You are taking your money and burying it and putting it in the ground and saying, wait the Tyler Smith contract next year. I'm going to wait for Bland contract next year. Matter of fact, I'm going to put them boys on a quote-unquote franchise tag. And the money that I buried for last year is going to be able to be usable for this year. And these teams are out here moving massive amount of money around to get to the playoffs and beyond. Don't y'all know how many acquisitions that where the Ravens at? The Ravens made, where they at on this list? They got $15 million. They go out there and spin up to the cap. The 49ers, they pissed off from what I heard from reports. They are making sure that they're going to spin up to the cap. The Lions, they are in good shape right now to win the Super Bowl with $48 million because they can go out there and get whoever they want after they do their evaluation of these guys this season. They won't bat an eye. The Eagles, I hate to say it. That's why I'm not going to talk too bad about Ringo and all of them other guys. Because after they do their evaluations, there's going to be some breaking news. News flashes happen every year. They sitting on $30 million. You think that the Eagles worried about that $30 million? They done paid everybody, including the water boy, water girl over there, and the bodyguard over there. And we still talking about contracts and value and worth. And granted, everybody's under contract. Yeah, that's cool. They going out there and getting people, man. Oh, my God. They going out there and getting some people to improve their team. And we going to march out there with Kyrie Elam and Bland when we had an ultimate chance of bringing in a veteran DB. We wait till the market dry all the way up, and then you say, okay, all right, James Washington, come on down, bro. Can you play DB too? While everybody else is going out there getting the best and the premium of the premium players that's been here before. We got issues. We need a defensive tackle, more so of a one tech. We're going to have to get off of our high horses, pick up the phone. We got $30-something million and call in a true one tech if Mozzie and Jay Toya and anybody else on his team is not moving the way they're supposed to move in these next 2 weeks. I don't want to hear the excuse, hey, man, we got to pay Parsons, and the reason why we can't make this trade right now is just so much pie. And that's our alibi. We got to make the slices. I got to slice the situation for Tyler Smith, and I got to have a slice of a situation for Bland. And then there will be a third of the Cowboys crying community. Crying. The reason why we can't go get nobody because of Dak Prescott. It's his contract. It's Dak. It's Dak's fault. If he wasn't paying Dak Prescott, and that's what y'all do. Y'all about to, hey, man, if only we didn't pay Dak Prescott. We'll be sitting on $59 million opposed to sitting on $30 million, I guess. Yeah. We will have more and more money to sit and bury for the next year. Hey, you know the guy we got to draft. We got to figure out ways to save money for that guy. You know, I don't know who he is, but we got to save money, put it in his. I can't make this stuff up. You're right, Law.
Joseph Boyd, Dallas Morning News. Jerry, kind of just talked about, the things that can happen before a contract's up, and that's why you kind of wait for it a little bit. You've done deals, though, early with Trayvon Diggs with Terrence Steele before it was time for it. What's the difference between those situations and a situation with like CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons?
Frankly,
Smoke one for you, man. Yes, rest in heaven, Malcolm Jamal Warner, 54. Yes, it's sad news, and I heard he passed away due to swimming or something like that. We hope all is well with the family. Indeed. Yes, indeed. So put MJW in the chat, RIP to Malcolm Jamal Warner. I appreciate y'all. With Jerry Jones, I just want y'all to watch how the reporter then got him saying, quite frankly, he about to say Frenkel and Frenkel law firm right there. Roger.
And we don't believe they're going that high. Only God really knows, So all of that comes to play.
Joe.
Joseph Boyd, Dallas Morning News. Jerry, kind of just talked about, the things that can happen before contracts up, and that's why you kind of wait for it a little bit. You've done deals, though, early with Trayvon Diggs, with Terrence Steele before it was time for it. What's the difference between those situations and a situation with like CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons?
Frankly.
Franklin Frenkel law firm, baby. See, it's just what it is.
It starts from the first phone call. Most of the time, you're going to talk to Gene Burkett, a 30-year partner. You're not going to talk to some employee that just got put on the phones that day.
There are things that are so crucial, especially if it's a cataclysmic event, to have our experts get out and look at the vehicle, witness statements, photos, the whole thing.
Call Frenkel first. Chosen by the people, feared by the insurance companies. Call Frenkel first.
That's 214 or 817, and all of the threes you can dial. And with that being said, Frenkel and Frenkel Personal Injury Lawyers, they located here in the heart of Dallas, so be sure to reach out to them if you slip and fall at work, or you're driving down the street and somebody rear end you, T-bone you, smash you, and knock you off the road. Be sure to reach out to our partners, Frenkel and Frenkel Personal Injury Lawyers.
Should we have waited on Diggs and Steele? Oh, you brought them up. I didn't.
Well, the other thing is the willingness. I mean, you have players who are.
That's a poor shot at character. We never scoff and laugh at someone's injuries, right? Both injuries, by the way, freak accidents. I think somebody rolled up on Terrence Steele's leg, right? And from what we heard originally speaking, they said Trayvon Diggs, in practice, came down with an interception and somebody's foot was there and he landed on that and it messed up his leg. I mean, that's some Final Destination stuff going on right there, We can talk about that left and right, so it's crazy to use them two examples. And, of course, Dak Prescott is an example of why not to pay. And what we doing here? If that's the case, if that's the business flow and the model, then why be a Cowboy? Like I said, what would be the incentives for Tyler Guyton and Mozzie to want to stay here and to get paid in the future? Two former first-round draft picks. And if they play up to the level that they're supposed to, then you got to go through another level of proving it. We the only team in the National Football League that do this then. To air out dirty laundry and saying, you should like it here. You should take great pride in playing with the silver and blue and the star on the side of the helmet. It's a privilege to get spit upon and talk badly about due and based off of your injuries. That's a wild conversation to have, man.
Who decide, hey, I'm willing to wait. And I'm going to wait on bigger numbers. And then you got other players who want to be more conservative and say, hey, I'd like to have my money now. And that's every person's different. Every player's different. And you respect both sides. And like I said, we'll talk to 4 or 5 other guys other than Micah who are going to be up next year. Some will say, hey, I want to wait and play and think my numbers will go up. I'll play better. I'll do better. The numbers will be up from last year. And we certainly respect that. And then you have some players who say, hey, I'm ready to take care of my family and decide to go now. And they've been varying for 30 years who wants to go ahead and.
None of this stuff makes sense. The franchise tag is more money than any player can receive at one given moment because it's upfront. It's a very hindrance on the salary cap because it's a hard cap league, right? Those two options, plan to the year to the last of your contract or the end of life of your contract, and also plan on a franchise tag. Those two things speaks volumes of whether or not, believe it or not, that the organization believe in you 1,000%. Now, I know some people will look at this and say, man, shoot, when we paid, what was that guy's name, the tight end, I forgot his name. When we gave him $12 million or $11 million up front, I think it's Schultz or something like that. Yeah, Dalton Schultz. When we gave Dalton Schultz that $11 million up front, you couldn't prorate it. You couldn't spread it out. You couldn't really do anything with it. And that was more money than Dalton Schultz ever received in his playing career, right? There was a great divide. There was people saying, hey, he's really not that good as a tight end. There were some people that would say, hey, man, he deserved that money. Give him a contract, Jerry. Let him walk. Those are negative alleyways of energy from your own fan base that you are bringing into the building. We are vibrational people, man. We are energy sources of things. We speak life into existence. Everything that you see around you came from sound. Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be established. So when you have that divide, I'm not sitting here saying that we're going to have a situation that everybody got to be on the same page and one accord. You're never going to have that. I get that. But from ownership, possessive ownership, you determine a lot on how these individuals see this game and this sport of business. And for example, all of you guys that's here, there are people that say, you know what? I would take $30,000 less a year to work for a company that value me and appreciate me and support me on my journey, opposed to a company that's going to pay you maybe $30,000 more. But when it's time for you to check in at 8 o'clock, they're at the door saying, hey, you're a minute late. You're 8:01. Or, hey, on that lunch break, why you took an extra 15 to 20 minutes? Harassing the hell out of you just for the simple fact that you're getting paid $30,000 more. There's people right now in that situation. And that's the environment that's from above here in Dallas. All right, we paid you the money. Now go win us a Super Bowl. Now we talking about millions. Yeah, BS. We talking about millions. But there's always self-respect and integrity, right? So that's what makes sense right there, ladies and gentlemen. It's about how you receive things, man. I can go to Walmart right now. Walk up to the cash register, lady, right? Or fella. And when they say, hey, this item is $10.99, and I have $20 in my hand with ones, and I take the money and I pay for that item and I throw the cash at her and say, keep the change. That person gonna be like, man, what the hell? Who you think you are? Especially in certain areas, you know, who you think you are throwing this money at me? Now, some people will receive it. Some people say, just throw it all over me for that $9. That's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with natural order of respect of things. We're dealing with karma and a whole bunch of other things that's dealing with the natural flow of positive energy. So when y'all put these expectations, oh man, now that this guy got paid, he need to play like Terrence Steele got paid, he need to be Larry Allen. Oh man, Diggs got paid, he better not get hurt, he better be better than Prime. Dak got paid, oh man, he better take us to the Super Bowl, $60 million, man, he better have 5 or 10 Super Bowls. But you saw how he had to do to get that money? Not once, but twice.
Do it early, and who wants to wait?
Steve, on that note, would you like to open conversations with Tyler Smith and his representation?
What makes you think we had?
Have you?
Like I said, you always hate to comment on this, their private and personal business, and it's not for me to talk about. If they want to talk about whether we're having talks with them, then that would be up to the player. I don't think it's productive for me to share, who are the guys we're talking with and who's decided, hey, I'm going to wait. I'd rather do this after the season than now or back last spring. We have to respect that.
Patrick.
Good morning, gentlemen. Football question for Shotty. When you're talking about starting training camp with several of your cornerbacks going on injured lists, Trevon Diggs, Rebel, Josh Butler, Kalen Carson is working his way back. Just talk about the challenge of trying to build continuity in the secondary when you have so many unsettled pieces at cornerback.
Well, I see it as a positive. I mean, I can see where there's issues, but it gives you a chance to look at some of the younger players. I think, our objective to come out of these first 2 weeks, really, before we get into the joint practice against the Rams, is we want to see all these guys compete. We want to see who's developing, who took the things that we taught in the spring and who carried it over. The installation is going to be exactly the same. So OTA 1 is going to be training camp 1 tomorrow, and then day 2 and day 3. But so I think it's really not, you could look at it as, it's a negative for continuity. We'll get that figured out, but at the most part, we need to.
Keep waiting on them leaves to fall. Sources: the Packers offensive tackle Zach Tom agreed to a 4-year, $88 million extension worth up to $92 million. Tom has started every game in the last 2 seasons and coming off in a year where he was graded 87.5 PFF grade. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I'm thinking that he was drafted the same year that Tyler Smith was drafted, I believe, and I could be wrong, but it shows that I think he started playing in 2022. I could be wrong on that, but he was drafted in the 4th round, if my research committee is telling me the truth. Yeah. Let me pull it up right here. The research committee is me, by the way. So Zach Tom signed a 4-year, $4.1 million, 504 signing bonus, which carry over. So that was his old contract. So yeah, he started in 2022. Base salary of $831,000. So what I'm getting at, the longer you wait, the longer you take your time on these kinds of calibers of contract. What do you think Tyler Smith is going to get when he's been playing more than 2 years as the starter? What y'all think is going to be? Because these leaves are falling and it's going to be more money, and we fooling around still talking about Micah Parsons' contract, right? I can't make this stuff up, man. So I get it. It's much to do about nothing. People will overlook these type of things, and it is crazy. And this is not what I'm getting at. This is not me pocket watching and these sorts of things. This is just me letting y'all know that if we keep using money as a level of excuses on why we don't go out there and get someone, and money, that's why he says money is money. I just wish somebody was there that could say, yeah, Jerry, money is money, but money answereth all things too. It don't say a few things, it don't say some things. So if you sitting back waiting for this deal to get done and you moving slow and lethargically speaking, then you're going to pay that higher premium. So let's stop talking about the reason why we can't go out there and get anybody is because of these installments on contracts. Let's start talking about the fact that you are not moving the way you're supposed to move. Yeah, it's facts over feelings. Because what we do is we give the Joneses the golden parachute, and then we look down upon these players and say it's been 30 years, 30 seasons, and the reason why we can't get out of the postseason or make a deep run is because of one individual. But with that one individual, you're not going out there and paying the other people to be a part of things. But Law, we had 8 to 9 All-Pros. We had 13 Pro Bowlers one year in 2008, I believe. We got talent, yeah, but we don't have depth. We don't have playmakers. We are lacking in either or department. Whether it's seesawing, we will have a great defense or a terrible offense, a great offense or a terrible defense. Great positional players that absolutely got the skill sets. But you got sus coaching. We've been like I can't wait to get out here to evaluate these guys out there on the field. Yeah.
Figure out and make the right evaluation of these guys to make sure that when it comes time to trimming the roster, that we're keeping the guys that we feel like fit our football team, not just based as a player, but as a person.
Nick
Harris, Star Telegram. When you guys were looking at last season, obviously not the campaign you guys wanted, what were the big problems that you took away in your reevaluation, and do you think you've solved those problems going into training camp now?
Well, I'll speak to the first couple things. Obviously, when you look at the turnover issues last year, that was a problem for us. We have to be better there. Injuries are part of the game. We know that. But again, I just think at the end of the day, the consistency for us last year was not very good. And that's why I feel like the importance of this training camp. I think there's no better training camp spot in the world than here in Oxnard, Ventura County. And the weather, the work we're able to get done, just, in terms of just focus solely on football. That's why you come out here. That's what you love about it. And again, it's more about what we need to do moving forward. We came out of the spring saying, okay, these were some of the areas that we got better at. We felt like we got the system in place with Flus coming in, with Sorensen coming in, and now's a chance for the coaches to really perfect it. That's what you try to do. You look at you teach it in the starting point of phase 1, phase 2, you detail it in OTAs, and then your job is to perfect it as a coach and a player during training camp.
Man, my guy, you can tell the differences between when Steven and Jerry is talking and then when my guy over here, Shotty, is talking. He's the only one that making sense. Jeez. And it's not his fault, man, that they going to fool around. And if they don't go and give him the resources that is needed, we're going to be doing the same thing over and over again. So hopefully, with all of this being a situation, hopefully, respectfully saying that he can win in spite of. At least we can, and I'm not beating the Joneses up on this part. at least by chance, if we have the better coaching staff now, that this guy can at least make some type of movement before egos get in the building. Maybe, just maybe, he know how to maneuver the room just a little bit and say, hey, Jerry, I get what you're saying. Let's go take a shot. Let's go for drinks and wheel them in from here, you know. That's our hope right there. Dazzle them with brilliancy, baffle them with bull sugar. And I hope that Shotty can do that with these owners.
It's no secret you guys need more out of Fonzie Smith and Tyler Guyton this next coming year. What's your confidence in each of those guys right now?
Mozzie looks great. Saw him last night. He looks great. He's excited. He's ready to go. He looks awesome. Again, young player. And then Tyler Guyton, I saw the thing of him training in the rain, doing some boxing. But, again, he's worked his ass off. And, again, why is training camp different? Because these guys actually get to hit each other. They get to lean on one another. And then when you play the game in the trenches, that's what matters. It's not what you do in OTAs. You know, I thought we had really good OTA practices, but there's limitations. The key of training camp is you're able to do things that as close to simulates what you're going to do on game day.
Facts.
Joe.
Shotty, Dak Prescott entered year 10. We know about what he's gone through in terms of injuries. What's your philosophy in terms of the work you need to see out of him and how much work you will give him?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, you know, now that he's in the over 30 club, we're going to be smart with some of the things that we do with him. He is anti that. He wants to do as much as possible. Luckily, we have the trump card with him on that. But in all seriousness, Dak understands that, again, there's a smart way to train. We've got, you know, two other quarterbacks we're really excited to evaluate. You know, Joe Milton's a guy that we're really excited about. We want to see him play a bunch. And then, you know, Will Greer's a guy that's been around. So although Dak's not going to like it as much, he's very aware that we're going to be intelligent with what he does.
Man, and I'm being 1,000. Y'all better not pacify Dak Prescott in preseason, training camp and preseason. Don't pacify that brother. No. Law, what do you mean? I seen, well, he shaved, so he didn't have a lot of gray. Tom Brady. Tom Brady played every damn preseason game. He had to scrape and find a way to pull him up out of there. Do Dak the same way. We bet not talking about the Eagles as a warm-up game, and you roll Dak Prescott out there with technically the #1 defense. Cold? Oh, you looking for an embarrassment. Look, the Cowboys looking for embarrassment. You're like, where you at? Embarrassment time? You think a cold Dak Prescott is going to come out there week 1 or week 2, right? Who play week 2? The Giants. The Giants defense, there's nothing to sneeze at too. And you try to use them 2 first divisional games as warm-up games, shoot. You better put Dak Prescott out there and let him play at least what Brady used to play, a full damn preseason game. You better try to figure out how to put him out there. I get it. We could talk about, hey, we don't want him to get hurt, and he's been hurt for the last few years. That's the price of doing business, man. I hate to say it that way, but
it's an evil world we live in.
I just need Dak Prescott to get out there to get them reps in. I don't want to hear where we using the Rams game or the Rams workout as a preseason. That's not real football. But allow your tune will change if he get hurt. Man, all of our tune will change. Don't you know? And I'm going to put y'all comments up here. Eagle fans, I know y'all all don't think this way. But don't y'all know who would rather hurt Dak Prescott more than any team in the National Football League, especially a fan base? And it's those freaking Eagle fans. Oh, man, they will relish at the fact if they could. All I'm saying, y'all don't have to take my word for it. Y'all don't have to like Law Nation. You don't have to subscribe. You don't have to share this content. But what I'm saying is the finite truth that if Tom Brady can have been to 10 damn Super Bowls, won 7, or how many Super Bowls he won, 7 or 8, I don't know. He's 7 Super Bowl champ. And if he can play in the preseason game, and Dak having made it to the division, beyond the divisional round, right, then he can be out there at preseason. I don't want to hear, hey, man, he getting enough reps. No, because we playing against the number 1 defense that was on paper last year. And we need to come off to a fast start.
One more I got for you. In terms of your message to the team in the first meeting, what are some of the highlights of that? Do you have any kind of a camp motto for these guys this year?
No, I mean, the motto is going to always be compete every day. I mean, that's what we're all about. It's not going to change. I've been other places where there's a theme of the year. I don't believe in that. I believe in that you should have a central theme of your program, and that's compete every day. And again, that's not just on the practice field. That's in the meeting rooms. It's time away, being smart, things like that. And again, the guys that I've seen and been around, they're excited, and they're excited to build off what we did in the spring. The spring was terrific for us, but it was just a spring. Now you're getting into July and August and the real dog days of summer, and that's where you're going to see the massive growth in this football team.
Tim?
Yeah, my guy says, B Fatty says, Micah isn't worth the money. What is he worth? You pay that. Whatever he is worth, you pay that. You know what I'm saying? B Fatty says, Micah isn't worth the money. So whatever he is worth, you pay that immediately. You go and run and pay whatever he's worth immediately. You better go out there and go get that. One can argue that Myles Garrett ain't worth the money. You see, Myles Garrett, as great as he is, he's playing in the shadows of whatever Micah Parsons will ever do. That's crazy, huh? And we all know that Myles Garrett is a phenomenal player. But nobody talks about his postseason games. Nobody talk about his playoff wonders and blunders. Nobody talk about his shortcomings, right? This the world we live in. But Parsons, somehow, he got to be better than all of those things by himself. Aaron Donald shouldn't have been worth the money that he was getting then. It took the damn Avengers for Aaron Donald to win the Super Bowl. They had to go get a Jalen Ramsey. They had to go get a Sue, or 1 year, I think Sue wasn't on the year when they ultimately won it. They had to go get a Leonard Floyd, I meant to say. Leonard Floyd, yeah. I'm thinking of Leonardo Fournette. But they had to go get all types of weapons and pieces for Aaron Donald in the last 10 to 15 years. The most explosive defensive player that you can imagine creating in a lab. They had to go get all of those weapons and pieces for him to win one Super Bowl. If Aaron Donald, from a player-to-player evaluation, is probably a whole lot better than Micah Parsons. If Aaron Donald need all of those pieces in order for them to win, what do you think Micah Parsons need?
Yeah, Tim Kalishaw, Dallas Morning News. Jerry, I wanted to say, first of all, and I'm late on this, you were great in Landman, and that to some extent made me look differently at you, the things you do. Seriously. Now, having said that, you brought up charts, and Washington did go to the NFC Championship game. So this is the first time you've come to camp as the team that's been the longest in the NFC without a championship game. And you see that chart in 29 years. Is that embarrassing? What do you think when you see that and think about that?
I've spent a lot of those 29 years looking up.
Jerry put them shades on. That sun was messing up his eye.
Not looking back. Well. I really have. And this thing has had some great peaks since 1989, but like football, they're few and far between. And so, yes, there have been some rough bumps along the way and some disappointments. Last year was one of them. I have always, though, known that you can't live off of last year or the year before. You've got to go do something and make some changes. Something's got to happen differently. If I sat around and dwelled on the past, and especially...
What's your point? What's your point?
Hey, Jerry, I'm use your own. What's your point?
the negatives of the past, then I couldn't even get out the front door. And so I don't think about it. I do not think about it. I work on, in my case, I work on what I can do different in that mirror, how I can change some things that I think will help things. I don't apologize at all for the fact that I've got the passion to be in the spot I'm in, or I have the background, or I have the qualifications. I don't apologize about that at all to my mirror. What I say to that mirror is change this, act better there, do a better job there. Now, we didn't do well at quarterback last year because Dak got hurt, in my mind, just to show you how simple this is for me. And we didn't block them up very good, either pass protect or open the holes up there. I think we're going to do better. Do I know better? If
This is funny. All right, so my guy over here says, and I'm just reading the comments while they fly. I appreciate y'all, man. And like I said, I'm just a passionate individual. It's not me taking a jab at anybody. C. Hayes, he says, you must be crazy, Law. They don't talk about Garrett's shortcomings because he barely has any. He does his part. Micah has 1 tackle, 0 sacks in 4 playoff games. Well, I guess, if we were to pull up the stats for Myles Garrett in the postseason, he has 5 solos tackle, 1 assist, 1 sack in 3 games. So, maybe, maybe if he can just step it up a little bit more, maybe, just maybe, right? No, these are low-hanging fruit conversations. But what I'm getting at, a third of the people won't even ever know this about Myles Garrett if we just didn't pull it up. If I didn't pull it up, if Myles Garrett, if you position him in the Cowboys uniform, right, and put Parsons over there in Browns land, there will be people talking about Myles Garrett ain't worth the money. On top of that, Myles Garrett, when he swung that helmet and hit that guy in the head, I forgot the name, I guess the name is Rudolph. If he were to swing his helmet while he had the silver and blue on, Myles Garrett would be just now getting out of jail, right? He would have been in jail, y'all. They would have said an assault with a deadly weapon, force unforeseeable. Let's put him in jail. But by him playing for, dare I say, the Cleveland Browns, nobody gave a damn. And they probably only suspended him for 2 or 3 games probably. That's for what it is. And I'm not beating you up, Hayes. I get you. You've been following the channel for a while. But I'm just calling out a spade a spade. And we can't say that the Browns didn't have a juggernaut of defenses and stuff like that. And technically speaking, the defensive coordinator for the Browns been a better defensive coordinator from an average total sum than the defensive coordinators we had here. I'm just saying. I'm just pointing out the real, Boy, can y'all imagine if Micah Parsons snatched the helmet off of a quarterback and then proceed to sling said helmet and connect it with said quarterback? Micah Parsons would be in jail by now, y'all. Shoot. It's just for what it is.
If we don't have Dak, no. But if we got Dak, one thing that I'm so optimistic about is the guy sitting right over there. Because the minute the season was over, we wanted him to have the most influence on the offense and the most influence of getting the best out of Dak. He knows the personnel. And he knew where we could have done better. and what circumstances we could have done better on. When I first was thinking about him, and with Stephen and with everybody involved, I really didn't think about him being the head coach. I did think about him really being involved in helping us be a better offensive football team if, in fact, we were able to have some better combinations of things, personnel or what have you. So it's not hard for me, after not going to a playoff game or not going to an NFC championship game or not going to a Super Bowl, it's real hard for me to feel the pain you feel last year and feel the elation and the hope to this year at all. This is going to be exciting to see what a man that's spent 30 years, grew up in this game, never had a chance to head coach, and has got some of the finest, highest paid athletes in the world to step out here and go to war with. I'm excited about that, and I'm proud that he's getting this opportunity. He deserves it, in my mind. It became very clear to me that he would deserve it. What I'm trying to say, Tim, man, that makes me go here this year. That makes me feel good. I had no problem at all in the spring being excited about coming to training camp and thinking about it all. Do you think I really dwelled? How much do you think I dwelled on Emmett going in and being the most valuable player over in the Super Bowl when he was? How much do you think I dwelled on that, or not the Super Bowl, but the player that he was and when we played at Atlanta? How much time did I'm thinking about that because I just watched an episode on that, going back that far. But I'm not doing that to get over there and live in the past. If anything, everybody in this room should know that I've got to live more in today than I've ever had to, because that old time's running out. And that's just a fact. That's just what it is. So I'm living for now. You ask me how I rationalize it, that's exactly how I rationalize it. I know how lucky I am. I've looked forward to sitting here with you guys. You think, well, we've done this 15, 20 times in our lives. I'm going to tell you something. You could too. We could be anywhere we want to be, but our ass is sitting right here because we want to be.
Man, Jerry, man, I was watching one of them Batman shows back in the days, and I think it was the one with Christian Bale, and at the end, Alfred was like, man, just live your life, man. I think he was messing with Catwoman or something. Go have some babies, man. Go have a good time. Because one day I just want to be somewhere where I'm paraphrasing, I'm messing up the script, but I just want to be somewhere where I'm sipping my coffee, reading the news, and I glaze and I look over, and I'm seeing you having a great time with you and your lady. That's what I envision. Jerry, you done hit the lottery of life, man. Give this up. Let somebody else sit in that seat that's passionate about winning and not passionate about being all in the fame and all in the shine and glow, so we can get back to winning. And stop saying that you're lucky when you're blessed. You're a blessed man. You're not a lucky man. You're blessed. Blessed to be still on this earth on all of the nefarious things that you did in your life, right? You are blessed to be here, still up in your older age. Man, there's people right now that's barely 60. We just had a guy that passed away today that was 54 from swimming. And you sitting up here with billions of dollars, right? Just tormenting us because you are not fully all in on business of running the Cowboys. You're running everything but the boys. You finna charge some poor souls that's going to come out there to Oxnard tomorrow $300 just to get to the other side to watch practice. Not a game, practice. $25 to park. So no, you're not lucky. You're blessed.
Because we want to be and be a part of it. Now, that's enough for me. And I have paid the price, personally. I don't have any problem justifying when somebody says, well, do it differently. Why don't you just watch it on TV? I don't have to. I paid too high a price in my mind for doing what I'm doing. And I'm ready to do it again. And I'm ready to walk up there and get that trophy if we could possibly get it. So that's a long-winded way of saying it doesn't daunt me at all to sit here, face music, This isn't music. I'm glad to be here. And I know you know that I don't cut my throat every time somebody writes something bad about me. I know you know that. And so that's not an issue either. So I'm glad to see everybody. I'm glad to be everywhere. I'm excited about out here and what this camp could mean by and through what we've done. Have we done some things with our players and our personnel that could really give us a chance to shock the hell out of them and be better than most people think we're going to be this year? Absolutely we have, and it could happen. And that Dak go out here and light it up, and a lot of good things could happen with us, okay? That's exactly the rationale I used really last year when I made him the highest paid player in the NFL. And you don't think I didn't think about him getting hurt and not having him after doing that? That would be criminal had I not thought it out. Well, it happened. It happens. That kind of stuff happens. And get ready, you're going to get some knots when those kinds of things happen. We got a great chance to put together a team here this year that could be where we would like for it to be. I'm excited about that.
Scram, get off my lawn.
Landman too, so I appreciate it.
What?
Yeah, it was good.
Well, they didn't give me enough time on it. My best scene was when I was talking to, what's his name, laying up there in the bed. I said, the good news is that they say you're going to live. And so don't make me have to come up here and visit with my rubber glove and get you out of that bed. Now, they took that out, and I thought it was the best scene in the whole thing.
Yes, indeed, man. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, Tim Collishaw with the question of the day.
I just binge watched Landman too, by the way. My time has expired, guys. I really appreciate y'all so much for jumping in and tuning in for these type of episodes. I do know that we had people waiting in the phone queues. I think it's about 2 people there. We're going to try to get to them, and then we're going to depart. I really appreciate y'all so much. This phone line is brought to you by RogueShop. I got Too Cool from the 910 UN. Talk to me real quickly.
Hey, Law, what's good, brothers?
Nothing much, man. Just chilling.
Hey, man, so a couple things real quick. Like, you have a good off season, and Jerry Jones finds some way to like hijack the off season every single time, right around training camp.
Right.
It's like you put your coach under the gun, or you put him in front of the gun, because now based off what Scotty say, people try to like, oh, he a puppet. But then it's really like, what can he really say about Michael Parsons really not being there if he's not going to show up for training camp? But then he said the shit like, it gives the younger players a chance to play, to see what they got. But also, I hear you, Coach.
Yeah.
But you need those older players that as mentors when it comes to your young fellas messing up on the field, because the head coach can't be all over the field, can't be with 11 different players at one time simultaneously, right?
Same
conversation that happened last year when we rolled out Jalen Tolbert and Jalen Monroe Cropper and all of that. It was like, hey, by CeeDee Lamb being out, we should be able to get more reps for the other guys. But I remember listening to my guys, man, Skywalker and Vach Lombardi. It was like, yeah, that's good, but who's the better dude, right? So if you take your star-studded players out of the equation, it's a ripple effect on everything, right? Because now we're getting a false notification of who really Jalen Tolbert is, because he's going up against guys that they're really not any good anyway, or vice versa. These DBs, Carson's, I forgot his name, Kalen Carson's, him shutting down Jalen Tolbert. That's cool and all, but can he do CD? Can he do George Pickens? So that's why you're right. If we talking about having leadership on all scales and having everybody that's there veteran-wise, then we need to have our leaders out there practicing and playing.
And then my another thing too though is this, right? And I think it's both of their fault. I think it's Michael Parsons' fault. I think more of the blame to this whole situation, to me, is on Michael Parsons versus Jerry Jones. Yes, Jerry Jones should get the deal done, but Michael Parsons kind of put his foot in his mouth last year. He was the one that came out. Jerry didn't say that shit. Michael said there's no difference between $30 million and $40 million. So you just seen what Myles Garrett got. So Micah, why is your deal still not signed if there is no difference between 30 million and 40 million? Were you just saying that in the moment, or do you really stand by that? Now I can see if you go back, or you saying, because you seem not to be too shy at running your mouth. Now if you out here telling Jerry, hey, I'm not signing this deal yet until you go get a one tech. I think we need one more player on defense, and then I sign this contract, and you can put money elsewhere,
right,
to help get another player in here. But if that's not the case, a lot of this blame to me is on Micah Parsons, because Micah Parsons was the one that came out and said there is no difference between 30 million and 40 million.
Well, the difference is between the two now is a year and other deals. So at that time, it was unheard of for a defensive player to get 40. So things didn't happen real quickly, and what a difference a year can make. Appreciate you too, Cool. Thank you for calling in, fam.
No problem. I'll be good, brother.
No doubt, no doubt. So that's the difference, waiting. When you wait, like when CeeDee Lamb initially entered into the conversation about his extension, didn't you guys know that he was anywhere between $27 and $28 million when they first initially got into the conversations? There were Cowboy fans and, of course, leaked reports about CeeDee Lamb and this sorts of things. And there was ultimately Cowboy fans leaning more towards the ideology that, CeeDee Lamb is not even worth $27, $28 million because he only plays and line up in the slot. And then after week 6 of that season, he went on this magical run, whereas and I think it was my guy, Landlord, Spam Lamb. He started a whole movement, Spam Lamb. And not saying that he made the coaches look at CeeDee Lamb to spam him, but there's something about that, is that they start focusing in on Lamb. If the Cowboys were smart, the moment he broke Michael Irvin's record, they should have ran to the situation and said, here's $28, $29 million. He would have signed that one in real quickly. But when we waited for the leaves to fall and all of these things and all of the results from the spamming of the Lamb, it drove that price up from an APY close to $7 to $8 million, ladies and gentlemen. That's another star-studded player that you could have had on your team. There your Derrick Henry go right there. Or there your, believe it or not, to a degree, your Saquon Barkley right there. Or whatever money you could have did and prorated and stretched that, you talking about equivalencies of 7 to maybe 15 to $20 million. But by waiting for the leaves to fall and having your own wide receiver to be spit upon, talk negative about, because there was a lot of people saying, yeah, he's good, but he's a slot guy. He's good, but hey, he's not worth Justin Jefferson money. He's good, but he's not worth some other wide receiver money. And all the time I'm banging on the table saying, go ahead and pay him. I've seen enough, and I'm sitting here in this studio. They get a chance to see him, and they refused to pay him, and they waited all off season last year. And then when they paid him the money, the expectations remain even higher. From the 215, you're live on the Nation, brought to you by RogueShop, man. Bro, what you got for me?
What's up, Law? What's up, King?
Yeah.
Yeah. Before I make my point, can you tell me about the 500 grand? I missed that point that Jerry was talking about.
Well, basically, he had incentives in his contract, Trayvon Diggs, and they knew of it, right? And they said it was spelled out contractually that if he decided not to rehab or to train and come to these workout things that they had at the Star, that he would not get those. He would not get that incentive that's on his contract, and basically he lost that incentive, right? And because he practiced on his own. They knew of that,
Okay.
but they didn't know of Cooper Rush's incentives, right? They said, hey, man, we wasn't aware. So that's why I brought that point up. But incentives, there's a lot of people with contract incentives laid on their contract, right? And a lot of people miss out. Some not even reported when they protect you.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. This is I mean, Jerry, I put in the comments, I've never heard a billionaire make comments like that. You can get hit by a car and all this nonsense. I mean, he's just so much duh.
Yeah.
And I've never seen the media. I don't watch a lot of pressers, but I never saw the media challenge them this much. I could have sworn I saw Jerry cover the mic and ask somebody, y'all didn't give them the Kool-Aid this year? y'all didn't give them the Kool-Aid? Because I swear they weren't drinking the Kool-Aid. They was asking the questions that we've been waiting them to ask for the last 30, 40 years. Now, I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm here in Philly. I don't really pay attention to the pressers that much, but I've never seen them challenge those two bozos as much as they did today.
Yeah, you're right. But man, hey, I appreciate you for calling in, man. Thank you, Glenn. Hey, let's get it. Salute, bro.
Hey, Law, also, you were supposed to get in I tried to contact you. I was trying to do a campaign to get you here for game 1, and you never got back to me, my man.
Man, I got so many things rapping and rolling.
I know.
I wish I could be in Philly, man. Week 1. But hey, I appreciate you, Glenn. Thank you.
I know. All right, God bless.
Likewise, Glenn out of Philly. I got last but not least, B Bird, man. Always deliver the great information for the nation. What you got for me, man?
Hey, Law, I'm going to make it real quick, man.
Mm-hmm.
What I see, because the press is always, it's just about contracts, right?
Right.
And you don't hear this in KC, you don't hear this in Philly, Baltimore, any of these other, well-run teams. And I think it's just a difference between my money and his money. And let me give you an example, and I'll get out of here. And I've given this before, but if we had a competition, man, Law, you stay next door to me, and somebody came up to us and said, hey, look, we want to have this reality show where y'all build the best pool, see who can design the best pool. And we're going to give y'all $300,000. Y'all can spend all the way up to $300,000. And whoever designs the best pool going to win $100,000. Right? And so, Law, at that point in time, wouldn't you say, hey, you tell your wife, we're going to spend all this $300,000, we want to win, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Suppose there's a competition and they tell you that, no, you got to use your own money. Are you going to spend $300,000?
No.
You're not going to spend that much.
Yeah.
Because that's your money. The issue is that GMs are spending the owner's money. They have no emotional ties to it.
Mm-hmm.
The Joneses are spending their money. They have an emotional tie to it. That's why this contract, that's why the Diggs talk emotional. Like if you're going to fine him or take away the money or whatever, it don't need to be made public.
Right.
Dak injury quotes, that's emotional. Micah, he missed 6 games. That's emotional because they want to get the value out of it. Other GMs, man, just trying to get the best players, win the most games. They know that, hey, this is part of it, man.
Yep.
This is part of it. Injuries are part of it. And we just got to deal with it. But we still going to sign these players. Why? Because you cannot win without good players.
You can't.
And the thing about it is the Joneses need a third. They need somebody in between them and the money. That's just what it is. And they need a money man in there that just wants to win. They want to win, but they want to win being cheap as they can, man. And I know you got to go. I just wanted to get that out.
No,
and I'll let you go, brother.
No doubt, man. Great call from you, B Bird. Always a great conversation, especially dealing with the Joneses and everything on how they like to operate. Speaking of money, man, I got my own website here on content channel. If you guys can show support and love, that would mean the world to me. I'm going to send the link right here. We have 53 subscribers, man. I really appreciate you guys. Join the nation here. Let me see. Join Law Nation here. Join me here. And I'm texting right here. There you go. Join me here. If you guys can, shout out to the 53 people, man, that subscribe to that channel there and to my platform. It's my individual platform. So we talk about independent seats. We talking about standing on your own too. and that's how I can stand on my own too. So anything and everything that I do here is migrated there and is saved there. So in the event, if YouTube goes away, Facebook goes away, or Instagram go away, we still have a flow of information where you can go and still support. So be sure, if you guys feel in your heart, if you can, subscribe to that channel there and help support independent people like me. I'm not backed by any company. So whenever you guys hear me speak, you hear the truth from me, from my opinions. If I'm wrong, hey, I'll come back and say I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'll rub it in your face just a little bit, but then I'll move on. But I really thank y'all so much, man. We're going to be traveling, so there may be some slow content throughout the days here, but y'all know how that travel law goes, man. We still post, man, so y'all may see the content a little different. I know you guys used to hearing the beautiful sound equipment and the mixer board and all of that stuff. It's just gonna be cell phone law for a minute, right? But I thank y'all, and I really respect y'all opinions. If I offended anyone today, man, I know I was a little rowdy earlier, but charge it to my beard, not my heart. I love y'all, and I thank y'all for supporting me, getting me here. Even though it may seem harsh that we talk about the Joneses, it's necessary. It's cough syrup. Y'all know when y'all taste that cough syrup, it's burning something up. But it's moving out all of that bad stuff that you don't need in your system. Now, if you had an alkaline diet, that's naturally, but that's a whole nother conversation. Don't want Facebook to kick me off. Last time I was talking about coconut water, they kicked me off for a couple of days. But shout out to Facebook. You know, just join. Appreciate you, Great Wolf. Appreciate you. Shout out to you, DP. Thank you. In life, it's the determined person that wins. A person with a strong determination can dig a ditch faster with a spoon than a lazy man can with a shovel. It's about your grit, your tenacity. It's about your mind of what you can open up dimensions. We got 3 eyes here. That pineal gland need to be fed with knowledge and good riches of resources. So the key word from all of this is where your heart is at. You can be wrong, but where your heart is at is what means everything. You can be right, woo, but where your heart is at. Yeah. But that's saying, even though they was right, the Creator kneeled down in the sand and they're saying, stone her. Stone her. And he said, let he without sin cast the first one. Meaning that we all are imperfect, but we try to be perfect. We all get in our own ways. My guy says, Leon says, Rowdy, come on, Law. We got you. We grown up in here. I appreciate you, Leon. I thank you. Keep that third eye clean, y'all. Ain't that right? Lisa, you coming to Oxnard, Lisa? Shout out to you, my girl. But Mama said that there will be days literally just like this. And we shouldn't be throwing anything, especially if we live in a glass house, meaning that you can see anything and everything wrong with the Cowboys. And that's what exactly what's going on. Shout out to Sadiq Charles, put SC in the chat. But in departing, from my mouth to your ears, if you want a thing bad enough to go out there and fight for it, to work day and night, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep, if all of your desires of it makes you quite mad that you don't get tired, and it makes you all hold everything tawdy and cheap If life itself seems empty, ain't this right, Sam? And useless without it, ain't this right, Sadiq, and you got us? Without it, and all that you scheme and all that you dream is about it, if you will gladly go out there and sweat for it, fret for it, or plan to lose all terror of your mind. If you would simply, just simply go after the things you want with all of your capacity, strength, sagacity, with faith, hope, confidence, and stern pertinacity. If neither cold or the poverty or the famish or fame or the sickness of your body or brain can turn you away from the things you want, if dogged and grim and besieged and beset, with the help of Almighty, you will get it. That's me right here, putting in work in Oxnard. Albert, appreciate you for sharing this photo with me. I didn't know that somebody had eyes on me, but that's me capturing and recording. Out there in Oxnard, putting in time, putting in efforts of work. The unforeseeable thing, being away from families and loved ones, to be around families and loved ones. That's bars. Because out there, you guys treat me like family and loved ones. And I really appreciate it. That's all the time that I have for this moment. I will get a little deeper, but I can't. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's go. I was gonna get real deep on that one, but I don't want to get deep. They say love's a sin, love's a crime. Love is when you have grief and you ask God for a sign, baby. Yeah. I wake up, thumb down now. Let's roll credits, baby. Tell 'em run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, baby, my love run deeper than the sea. Tell 'em run it up. I wake up, let's get it. Down now. No drip this. Tell 'em run it up. Roll those credits. Come on. Turn to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. Come on. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me. Don't zone me. I'm number one up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady. Yeah. The first one in, the last one out, can't call me lazy. Put in my hours, send the invoice and they pay me. I need 6 rings like MJ. Come on, Holly. I wake up, flex, T-Jack, no Sadiq, tell him run it up. No Leah, Sandcastle, DeMarcus Ware, cousin, I see you. Come on. No drip this, tell him run it up. No sleep, no rest, might crash, might, but first die. Tell him run it up. Y'all gon' make me take that trip way out to Philly. I call up Niger, he'll come through in a hurry. I call my guy, TJ. Boys don't come to play, you should get worried. Reynolds. One false move, find yourself, they get buried. That's what the devil used to love playing those games. All right. Made some bad decisions that brought my until next time, pain. DC for life, baby. I promise to her, swore that I would change. I'm on the come up. Don't brush them teeth, Jerry. They too yellow. I wake up, brush teeth. Let me leave Jerry alone. That boy got them wooden teeth up in that mug. Let's get it, baby. Jerry, send me a super chat now. Until next time, DC for life. He got them John Airways, don't he?
And they understand the cost that is involved.
R.I.P. to Malcolm Jamal Warner, man, and realness, man.
Ushers, close the doors.
Until next time, salute.
Close the doors. We all gonna leave together. There's 1,000 of you tonight, and those that are watching, it's 1,000 that's watching online. This is a small seed. If I get 1,000 online to give this, I'm challenging each of you all down here to give a $20 seed. But I need everyone standing up here with us, with me, to plant a seed of $100. Because again, it costs to sit up here. I got you. And this is what I need you to do. If you're giving electronically, or even if you're giving tangibly, bring them baskets. I want the baskets up here. I want to see the folk. Y'all start moving. Y'all can bring it right now. Come. Even if you're giving tangibly, just put your hand on the, take your phone and stick it on the belt.
All I ask is when you lay your head on that pillow,
giving is worship.
You like everything I have. I give
Giving is worship. Giving is worship. Giving is worship. This ain't the time to talk. 1,000 people need to give $20. 1,000 people need to give $20. 1,000 people online need to give $20. This is easy, saints. This is an easy miracle. We should be able to raise $40,000 tonight just from y'all giving. That's it.
Original, they never will be.